What are we doing here?
All right. Yeah. So
I just drove up from San Antonio. What's going on?
Is that the start? Yeah. Start right there. I just drove from San Antonio.
Yeah.
Camera. Hunter just walked by.
Yep.
Welcome to the show.
Hey guys, welcome to the show. It's so good to have you here.
Hey, like and subscribe.
He hates it.
It's gonna be 5 minutes.
This is nice of you guys. Hey, thanks for
It
having
is.
me. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, bro,
Good to meet you.
I just don't feel like it's a good
It was
fit.
so good to know
Good to meet
you.
you guys. Looking at all the cameras.
We're supposed to look dead into the camera the whole time, right?
Oh yeah, we each look into our own.
I just don't know. I don't know which camera is mine. I think this one's.
It doesn't
mine.
matter this time.
I think this one's
No,
mine.
that one. Yeah, you
I think
got
so.
it.
Yeah, like
That's right.
Didn't make it in.
Yeah. So I actually don't know the best way just to like formally to start in terms of like I'll cut all of that out and
Of course.
and even
No, this is all in. This is gold.
I mean, it totally can be, and we can do whatever. But I think like the real way would be, just kind of saying why we're here and what we're trying to accomplish with the show.
So why do you want to do this?
Man, honestly, I've been thinking about that a lot today. I think that originally it was to express things inside of me, express my thoughts, express my opinions, but really, as I've thought about it more and more today, and as I've thought about getting to know you and more, somebody that I don't really know, and I don't really know your opinions.
That's the funniest part about this.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's gonna be crazy. But as I've started to think more and more, I see this as a learning experience for me. And I'm coming to the table with certain levels of expertise in certain areas, and then certain levels of just absolutely no knowledge and very little to stand on. But I view this as an opportunity to grow myself and to really be thinking about and forming my own opinions as we have our conversations, which I think adds to the level of what a podcast can be. Having the opportunity to learn and grow and experience with the people watching the podcast and with each other. And so I'm just excited to learn and formulate my own thoughts about art, my thoughts about the world, and so forth.
That's kind of like my thing is like I think it's actually due to not reading a lot as a kid. Like I don't like my thoughts aren't articulated extremely well. Like if I'm writing, I can get those out pretty well, but like my like brain to mouth motor skills, if you will, like I feel like that could really improve. So like kind of like helping form my own thoughts and like opinions on things, I would say kind of like piggybacking a little bit off of what you said as well. And also like there's so much to learn. Like we're talking about art, we're talking about film, we're talking about music, we're like there's so many things to cover there, and it's like a lot of it is subjective, like it's art, but there's also like some rules to certain art forms that like we're definitely gonna like get into, and I'm really excited to like just really dive into that and like you said, learn about that too, because I'm very much into film. Like I'm an aspiring filmmaker, I guess you could say. So I think it's gonna be really cool to like look back on this, see where we were, and just like what we knew. Like it might even be laughable until like 15 years or whatever.
Yeah.
So like I hope it is.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I think it would kind of be a failure on all of our parts if we didn't look back in 10 years, 15 years and think, oh, I still think the exact same things. I haven't grown at all. Those are still my opinions today, which is kind of a really cool thing to think that we'll be like, putting in the world and in the computers what we think, and so we can like track that progress as we go. But I think it'd be really cool, and one of my goals is to better learn how to communicate our opinions on art. So, I think this, you think this, what's the best way to have this discussion so we can kind of understand each other's opinions and understand where we're coming from. And I think that's something that as people are watching with us, they would hopefully be able to, have that conversation, and we can all learn how to discuss art on a more like intelligent level, as opposed to just like, I like this. Did you like it? No. Great, cool, nice conversation. It's like, you can really get into like the nitty gritty about what is stimulating you in the art world, and why that differentiates between other people. Where are you learning your tastes? Why do you have certain tastes? And what like piques your interest in art, and why are you so passionate about it? As the three of us, because I'm sure our passions, will overlap in some areas in terms of what we think is really cool and what we don't think is cool. But there's going to be points where we disagree on things, and I think it'll be really cool to document, why we disagree on that and how we can just like butt heads and say like, no, maybe you might be wrong, but how can we like actually put into words why we think that's the case, and we can like learn how to do that in a more productive way. I think that would be a really cool thing, because I think that's something that's potentially lacking is, people have their criticisms of art and it's hard to really understand where exactly they're coming from. And I think we can really grow and learn how to have more like concise criticism of things, if that makes any sense.
It ought to be a really cool formula to follow, just because we're not coming into these things with our formed opinions. We're not coming in with a pad. We're not coming in with we might have our formed opinions, but we're not coming in with a set script or schedule. It's just going to be conversation. And we could go into the podcast feeling or thinking a certain way, and then come out of the podcast feeling totally different.
Yeah.
And that's a really exciting prospect to me.
Yeah. So like what he's saying is, hopefully our goal to come into these is like, we'll shoot each other like a text or an email, but like, hey, so this really piqued my interest and I think we should talk about this. And then we'll sit down, and that will be our only like previewed conversation, is just the fact that this is going to be our subject matter. And hopefully what you guys see and what we experience here is very raw. It's the same as three guys going to the bar right after seeing a movie and just getting to pour into each other like, what did you think of that movie that we just watched together? And we get to get that on camera and kind of experience first thoughts with each other, and then take that deeper and deeper as the minutes go by, and learn how to better discuss those opinions and thoughts live-ish on camera. I think that'll be a really cool experience for sure.
And I've kind of mentioned this before, but Corey and I have hung out one other time before this. This is our first time. And so we don't know each other really at all. And so it's an exciting prospect to get to know what your opinions are. Brandon and I know each other extremely well. We were best friends in high school, and we've grown with each other over the years and formulated a lot of our opinions about art together. And Corey and I have not had the opportunity. Yeah. And so I'm just excited to see where you come from and hear about your passions and learn more about you.
And I know Brandon like totally wanted this to happen. He's like, I'm not gonna have these guys talk together at all. We're gonna like sit down and
document
a friendship.
Yeah, which is a really cool concept.
That's kind of crazy. So like we're gonna find out like, oh man, we like these things, or like
we don't vibe at all.
Like, dude, get this guy out of here.
Corey's gonna text me like, why did you invite this guy to the podcast, dude? This is horrible. This guy doesn't know anything.
But the thing is, like,
it's possible. Regardless of like whether we if I'm like super passionate about some aspect of something and you're like, that's kind of lame, bro. And I'm like, really? Like, and we don't agree. Mm-hmm. That's going to be so fun, because our different like perspectives and experiences and all of that like is going to kind of grow our like open-mindedness. Like, because I think like we all have said at this point is like, we're trying to learn from this. We're trying to just grow from this. So like, I mean, I think it would be like an echo chamber if we all think exactly the same, right? Like, so I'm excited. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I can say there's probably no chance that we will all agree on everything, just because we're all coming from such different. Like, even when if all three of us were to watch a movie, we'd see different things because of what each one of us. Because I've had multiple conversations with both these guys on their perspectives and what they enjoy about film, for example, and. We've got two totally different types of people when it comes to like what they get out of a movie. So I think it'll be really cool to like break down.
Yeah, and we agree on some things like Disney sucks, right?
Yeah, Disney. Yeah, we're not gonna have any Disney stuff on here. So
I thought I'd get a better reaction.
No, I'm just gonna go with it. We've got like notepads of all of like our future ideas, and like I'd say like 80% of them thus far are like critiques on Disney.
Lots of Disney
concepts from Disney, and so like
just talking about how much we hate
and how much we think Disney has just revolutionized storytelling. Wouldn't you agree, Corey?
Yeah, I actually do love Disney. I don't know why I just decided to say
thought you'd get a rise from me out of
I wanted to get a rise from you. You reacted so like calmly, and I'm really upset about that.
It's gonna be hard to do that. I feel like we cut on that in a sense.
Like and subscribe in the corner here, our video here.
Ding, 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 notification bell.
Yeah, make sure you click the notification bell so that you actually get notified.
Click all the buttons.
Again, it was really nice knowing you guys. Like, I really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for coming to the channel! Shakira.
Well done.
So, obviously that'll get cut up a bunch.
Yeah, I hope so.
That's really long.
Yeah, don't post that last part.
Okay.
Mainly that.
We can. Do you want to turn them all off now?